Tommy, bit of freedom for you, mate. Congratulations. How was it this morning when you left?
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it was interesting. We sort of we had to get up a little bit earlier just to get back and get going. Plus, Em had to work. My partner who was with me, so it was sort of interesting to get up and not have to train and not have to go for a run. And then also, we're allowed to have more than one person out at a time, which was also a bit of a weird feeling considering the past 2 weeks. But yeah, I wouldn't say freedom's the right word, but it did feel like a bit of a release.
Can you talk us through what changes you made after the break?
I sort of lost.
Oh, sorry, mate. You got me?
Yeah, no, I didn't hear that.
Talk us through what happened after the breach and what restrictions were put on you guys and how you trained.
Yeah, basically it just split from a case of the whole place being like ours to then more of a one person out at a time rule. So Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays, we had a group of 8 blokes that would train each hour, so individually. So one would go out, they'd text the next guy and say, you're up. So we were only allowed 1 out at a time. And then the other group would have half an hour out each on their own. So basically it was just one person out per, like at a time, which was obviously a little bit difficult, especially with like just connection and just being around boys. Like you got the guys there, but you're not allowed to go and sit with them, whatnot. But the boys did well. They all handled it really well. They got through it, no mistakes, and all full of character, full of joy throughout it. No one really turned. So yeah, it was good. It was good. It was difficult, and once we got used to it and set it in a routine, it was good.
What's expected of you for the week now that you've got a target in place in a couple of weeks' time with footy returning?
As in with training and schedule stuff?
What are you up to for the week?
Yeah, basically just a few main sessions, a few skills and weight sessions, just trying to get back in a match fitness really. We're obviously adhering all the protocols and we've got a few restrictions with training and weights and things like that. But just to be out there on the track and actually be able to run around and have a kick and not be in a hotel room is just been beautiful for us and for the boys that were in, even the boys that stayed around here, just to be able to get out on the track again, just a great feeling.
And did you have a sense of relief when Gillen said we're playing on the 11th?
Yeah, it'd be the same for you guys. You'd be itching to cover footy instead of just puff pieces and talking about a whole lot of nothing, but just to actually have a date and have something we can go, like set our goals to, has just been incredible. And yeah, I know everyone in the football media, everyone in the football world is just looking forward to it, the fans, the players. So itching to get out there, considering I haven't played a game for, I don't know, 14 months or something now. It's been a while.
That's it. Righto. That's all from me.
Mate.
Thank you, Tommy.
Cheers, mate.
Channel 10, Max.
Sorry for being late, gents. Thanks, Tommy. So on that injury that you just talked about, I don't know if that was discussed earlier, but you, how far away would you be if we're in the middle of a season right now? When are you playing?
No, I'd be good to go, Maxie. Yeah, I'd be sweet. I've done all the work over the break that held me out of round 1 to make sure I'm good to go, and had a little. Well, we obviously still trained when we were up there and had a bit of a run around today, and always feeling good. So yeah, I'd be sweet to go.
So do you anticipate round 2? That's when we're seeing you in the ones?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Hopefully, but I suppose the weird part is that none of us have had any match sim experience for the last 6 weeks, so we're all a little bit out of it. So once we get back into full group training and contact, we'll see from there. But I would love to be. It'd be unreal to run out for the first game back, especially for considering how long it's been for me. But everyone's keen, so it'll be interesting.
Any apprehension left in your knee after all the training you've done?
Nah, zero, mate. Nah, yeah, we're just fine. I'm just keen to get out there. It honestly feels like forever since I've played a game. So knee's fine, hammy's fine. Everything that happened before round 1's behind me, and ready to rock.
Good to hear. Sorry to harp on about it. The Barossa stuff, your involvement in the actual breach, were you one of the players that was training, or were you there, or did you know what was going on? Tell us about what you were doing at that time.
Yeah, we were all over there, mate. We just made a mistake. We were out and about having a run, and yeah, everyone was just so excited to be out there. And like, I'm not going to harp on it too much. Obviously, we've gone into it a bit, but hindsight would be a wonderful thing. I'd have my time again and we could change some stuff. But yeah, I played a part in it, unfortunately, and I'll wear that as a club. We've worn it, and we're just looking at moving forward. It's just one of those things that everyone wants to put behind it, especially now that we've got a date for footy. We're back training at the club. It's just something that's in the past and time to move on for us.
Do you wear that more as I suppose you haven't played 300 games, but in that group you're a senior player and a leadership group member. Do you wear that more and that mistake?
Personally, I do. I can't speak for all the other boys in terms of how they've handled it. But yeah, I always feel a sense of responsibility just mainly because of the younger group and the relationships I have with those boys. And like I said, we all played a part in it. But yeah, personally, I would love to have had my time again and change some things. But yeah, it's just a case now of there's no real point of stressing about it anymore because we've got bigger things to worry about.
I just got one more. On a different tact, a lot of your members are getting emails at the moment asking them, stick with us or here's some options. What would be your message? Obviously, you don't know about the membership itself. What would be your message to the members considering their options going forward with the footy club in an uncertain time?
Oh, I'd be the same thing. Just stick with us. We're super excited about this. The opportunity to go up to a hub and have possibly the full list just together and developing relationships, getting better, training together, working hard and stuff. We think we've got a bright future ahead and we're really looking forward to that. So members-wise, like, stick with us. That's what we want. Obviously, if you've got any sort of situation where that isn't a possibility, then we can work through it, hopefully, as a club. But perfect world, everyone sticks with us and we roll forward from here.
Thank you, Tommy. Pass you on to someone else. Cheers.
Thanks, Maxie.
Channel 9. You there, Vic?
Oh, can't hear you there, Vic. Sorry. You're still on mute. Can anyone else hear? I can't hear.
No, can't hear.
No.
We'll keep moving then. Richard from the Tizer.
Yeah, Tom. How are you personally going to view the whole families and the hub situation? The AFL still hasn't given you a directive about who you can take, I guess, but more importantly, what they can do when you actually get up there, whether they can actually lead the players go to SeaWorld or they have to bunker down with you guys. How do you feel about that, and how do you think the blokes with kids and families think about that?
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult situation if some guys have to be away from their family. I've got my partner here, and we're still deciding what we're going to do because she may have to return to work, so it might not be an option for her to come up. But
yeah, so they should be able to hear you now. Yeah.
But obviously, if you've got the blokes that have got families, that's just a difficult situation that they'll work through. And ideally, they can move up and be a happy family and live in the Gold Coast, and those boys can play footy. Their partners can enjoy and watch with their kids. But there's still a lot to be sorted out because it's all moving so fast, and the situation's been fluid since the season got postponed. So, hopefully, this ideal world occurs and we get everyone up there and it's one big happy family. But that's going to be each individual has to sort out their circumstances.
Would you see a risk if families were coming and going in the, I guess, general community and coming back with the possibility of possibly infecting, family members? And could you see that as an issue?
Oh, there's obviously the potential for that just because of the nature of the virus. I would think there'd probably be some restrictions on the family if they come up, just because of the fact that we are trying to do everything we can to keep the season going once it gets up and about. So, again, that's something that's still got to be sorted out. And AFL's done a good job. We've done a good job of getting everything sorted up here and trying to figure out the best thing we can do for each individual case, whether you do have a family or you're just someone who's missing home, or like me, you've got a partner who might still have to work. So individual situations are going to have to be worked out, and it'll be interesting to see where all that goes.
Man, what's your view on you're obviously in a relationship, but the casual hookups? The AFL guys get a bit of a bad rap, but pretty much you guys are making a lot of sacrifices, and I guess this is another one. The boys are under the pump; they can't do anything. It seems. What do you reckon the younger boys' view is to all these, the absence of any, casual hookups?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I've been with my partner for 6 years, so I haven't really been in that sort of situation. But it's more just an interesting one, and the idea of like this is our job now in a sense. We've got to make some sacrifices to play, and hopefully they see the bigger picture and work through that. But yeah, I mean I didn't expect that question today, to be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Would many blokes be, when they sign up to AFL, consider having a bonking ban? It's pretty amazing.
Well,
having a bonking when you sign up to AFL, pretty extraordinary stuff.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Turn it on, Vicky. Do you want to have a crack? You got your audio sorted?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better.
Oh, sorry, Tom. Apologies if you've just been asked this, because I was trying to get ourselves sorted out. You've obviously just gotten back from the Barossa. How do you feel about having to pack your bags and head off for a couple of months?
Personally, I'm pretty excited. I mean, it's been a whirlwind 2 weeks from coming back to unpacking, repacking, going to the Barossa, and now unpacking again. But as I mentioned before, it's been a while since I've played a game, so I'm ready to rock, and I'm sort of in a position where I'm comfortable just going up there just because it means I get to play. But it'll be difficult for some of the boys with families and other situations. But personally, I'm just ready to roll.
Are there any blokes, I guess those with kids, Rory comes to mind, that are thinking about not going, or you're all in at the moment?
Not that I know of. Yeah, I think the group's pretty. Everyone's sort of wanting to do the best for the team, and whilst also looking after their family. So ideal situation, everyone's up there. Obviously, family's a huge thing, and it always comes first. So each individual that makes that decision will support them. But I think there'll be a world where we can make everything work up in the Gold Coast with kids and with little bubbers or with families or whatnot. So that would be the perfect situation. We can get everyone up there, be a happy club as well as a happy family.
And you got any mates on the Port team? Any worries about sharing a resort with them?
I think we might cut the hotel in half and just never cross paths. I've got a few mates on the team that if I see them, I'll chat to. But especially if we're playing them, I think we're playing round 2, so it'll be sort of stay away from them until that game's done, I think. And then if it goes one way, it might be a little more chatty after that.
Would you be happy to play them up there, or would you prefer to wait the showdown until it can be played in Adelaide or a bit later in the season?
Yeah, perfect world would be a showdown with 50,000 at Adelaide Oval, because that's the best game all year. It's the atmosphere, whether it's a Crows or a Port home game, it's second to none. So it'd be great to be able to wait and make sure that could be the case, but we don't know if there'll be crowds later on in the season. So it might just be a case of let's just get the games going and figure that out once it comes to it.
I just heard Richard asked about the bonking ban, but if you're not allowed to do a few other things up there, play golf, go surfing, how do you feel about the list of restrictions if you've gone through them yet? Personally,
I'm a terrible golfer and I don't like the beach. So I'm pretty sweet with them too. I don't know how the other boys will go, but it'll be difficult, especially because that's some guys' release. It's that travel down the coast, have a surf, or jump on the golf course, play 9 holes and just relax with the sun glaring down. So we'll have to find another avenue if that still is the case and it's still banned by the time we get up there. But that's just something we're going to have to sacrifice for the games to come through. And hopefully by the time we get up there, we've continued to stop the spread and all that becomes available.
Just conscious of time, guys. ESPN, do you want to have a few questions?
Yeah, just one from me. So I'm sorry to circle back to the Barossa breach, but at the time, were you guys aware as players that you were doing the wrong thing, or was it kind of, as you mentioned before, just sort of heat of the moment, wanting to kick a footy?
Yeah, what I mentioned before, really, it was just one of those cases where we were in the right, and then we just sort of it's sort of an interesting thing because you're 6 weeks, you train with these blokes all pre-season, and then you're away from them without contact besides Zoom chats and stuff for 6 weeks, and then mind starts to drift. You get a bit into the spirit of it and goes from there. So yeah, but like I said, we're at a point where we copped the punishment. We're ready to move on. All the blokes that were up there have dealt with it, how they did, and being back today and being able to run around freely is just such a positive for everyone.
Yeah.
Crossy from the ABC.
Tommy, just one thing. You said, I think, might have been pre-season this year when you said things have moved obviously a lot since then. You said that you'd learned along the journey that football isn't the be all and end all, but your enthusiasm to want to play now have you slightly changed that theory now that you've been denied football when you are fully fit and ready to go?
No, I think that's always been my mindset. I'm someone with a lot of interest outside of footy. So as much as I love the sport, and that's why I get up every day and get excited to go to training. It was just a case of whilst footy was taken away from me, I knew I'd be able to have other avenues to make sure that what I was doing was like still positive for me. It wasn't that I don't have footy, I'm going to be in a hole because of that. And now the fact that footy's back and my knee's right, it's just pure excitement to play again. So I don't know if that makes a ton of sense looking back on it, but basically I've got a lot of interest outside of footy. So footy isn't the be all end all, but I do love footy to a point where if I can get back and play as soon as possible, I will.